She came, she saw, and she went all out to conquer. Donald Trump's daughter Ivanka Trump is currently having dinner at the Royal Falaknuma Palace in Hyderabad with 101 special guests, including the who's who of corporate India. Also being celebrated are the achievements of some women entrepreneurs, because the one thing that Ivanka did in Hyderabad today was to celebrate the spirit of achievement of women entrepreneurs who are going out and making it big on their own steam. She also went all out to praise Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi, saying his journey from chaiwala to Prime Minister shows just how transformational Narendra Modi's been.
For the Global Entrepreneurship Summit.
A dazzling smile, a casual wave for the cameras as she landed in Hyderabad. And the US first daughter and advisor to Donald Trump got down straight to business. In India, for the 8th edition of the Global Entrepreneurship Summit, Ivanka Trump kicked off her trip with a meeting with Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Next, it was time for a tour of the International Convention Center at Hyderabad. Guided personally by the Prime Minister, flanked by India's Defence Minister and Niti Aayog CEO Amitabh Kant, Ivanka Trump got a taste of innovations in business. At the inauguration of GES 2017, Ivanka Trump got a full-blown traditional Desi welcome. From a Bollywood-style performance to a warm greeting from Robot Mitra, a humanoid developed by a Bengaluru-based company, Ivanka inaugurated the Global Entrepreneurship Summit with Prime Minister Modi.
Entrepreneurship Summit 2017. We request the Prime Minister to kindly press the Indian flag button on the screen.
Welcome Shri Narendra Modi.
She then took to the stage and started off by heaping praise on PM Modi, even crediting his tea seller background for change.
What you are achieving here is truly extraordinary. From your childhood selling tea to your election as India's Prime Minister, you've proven that transformational change is possible.
She then went on to further cement India-American friendship.
It is a symbol of the strength and friendship between our two people and the growing economic and security partnership between our two nations. As President Trump said earlier this year, India has a true friend in the White House.
Dressed in a modest-length green silk dress with Indian motifs, she charmed the audience with her easy candor.
Now, your tech centers may even outshine your world-famous biryani. Maybe. CEOs like Microsoft Satya Nadella went to school right here in Hyderabad.
But when it came down to women in business, it was clear that Ivanka was a woman with a mission.
Here in India, I want to applaud Prime Minister Modi for his firm belief that the progress of humanity is incomplete without the empowerment of women. Just consider, if India closes the labor force gender gap by half, your economy could grow by over $150 billion in the next 3 years.
As the American president's advisor, the first daughter's first visit to India will mean big business.
Her comprehensive speech impressed one and all. She not only spoke about Indo-US bilateral and economic ties, but the importance Trump administration attaches to the Indian administration and Indo-US ties. More importantly, Ivanka Trump mentioned the fact that Prime Minister Narendra Modi became a prime minister from just very humble beginnings, a slap in the face of the opposition that has been questioning Prime Minister Narendra Modi, but also an endorsement to Prime Minister Narendra Modi and his policies towards inclusive growth as also sustainable growth. Video journalist Damodar in Hyderabad, Geeta Mohan for India Today.
Remember, Ivanka Trump's visit to India has been marred by controversy. This comes on the back of Rex Tillerson, the US Secretary of State, not sending any high-level diplomat with Ivanka because there's been a running tiff about whether a president's daughter should have the kind of stature and position that Ivanka Trump seeks for herself through this big coming-of-age presentation in Hyderabad. This is really her coming on the world stage by herself. But the big question really is, has the Modi government done the right thing by going all out to woo Ivanka Trump? Because she does have the ears of the president, and a very unconventional president at that. Or is this a diplomatic mistake? Joining us on the Newsroom Showdown tonight, I want to begin by introducing Alisa Ayers. She's a senior fellow for India and South Asia at the Council for Foreign Relations in Washington, D.C. Also with us on this broadcast, we've got Mansui. She's a friend of Ivanka Trump. Smita Prakash is a foreign affairs editor. She understands the strategic affairs domain. For a bit on Ivanka's fashion statements, because remember, Ivanka has been in the news for good reason and bad very often because of the kind of clothes and outfits she's chosen to put on. Reena Dhaka is joining us on this broadcast. She's also been speaking a lot about women empowerment, women entrepreneurs and the kind of problems they face and how the ecosystem needs to be made more robust and more willing to accept women entrepreneurs. Joining us is Prerna Mukharia. She's the founder of Outline India. Swati Chaturvedi is joining us as well, and Shama Mohammed of the Congress. So we've got lots of very, very sharp, perceptive voices on the newsroom. I want to go across first and foremost to Washington, D.C. And I want to ask Alisa Ayers whether you believe, sitting on the Hill, that India is doing the right thing by virtually laying out the red carpet for Ivanka Trump. She is her father's daughter. She's an advisor to the American president, but she holds no position in the State Department. Is this a trump card for Modi, or is this a diplomatic blunder?
Hi, Rahul. Thanks so much. You know, a lot of Americans, and I count myself among them, are a little bit uncomfortable with the idea of having the president's daughter playing a policy role inside the White House. So I think many of us think that these are roles that should not have children in them. Now, Ivanka is leading this delegation. Prime Minister Modi invited her to lead this delegation. So that is the state of affairs today. And my take on this is that given the level of media attention her leadership of this delegation has attracted, it's really important to actually focus on the policy issue here. And to me, the policy issue is the importance of trying to close that women's labor force participation gap in India. That's what will be vital for India's economic growth, for Indian women's participation in the Indian economy. And to me, that's the important issue to highlight here.
Prakash, there's been a lot of commentary, especially in the liberal media in America, about how Ivanka Trump is going out as her father's daughter. And this may not seem particularly odd in India, where very often you have Akhilesh Yadav taking over from Mulayam Singh Yadav, Rahul Gandhi taking over from Sonia Gandhi. So it's virtually the done deal, as it were, unfortunately. But in America, they haven't really had a first daughter coming out and playing such a big role on the first stage. On the world stage, do you believe this is a diplomatic smart move by Modi or a blunder? Smita Prakash.
See, as far as what role Ivanka Trump plays in American politics, that's really the internal dynamics of American politics. We have little to choose. We have to deal with whoever is the face of America, the American government, when it comes to dealing with India. So it can be the American ambassador, the South Asia point person, or else in this case it is Ivanka Trump. And she is the White House representative when she comes out here. She is her father's daughter. And India does know what dynastic politics is. It knows the dynamics of dynastic politics. And I think it's pretty smart on the Modi administration's part to lay out the red carpet. To many it may seem a little overdone, what with the rose petals showered on her, etc. But that's the way India has always welcomed foreign delegates. or in fact politicians in India are also welcomed like that when there are party occasions, you know, party politics when it plays out. As far as Ivanka Trump is concerned, I think her speech today was phenomenal. I mean, she played both ways. She wasn't ditzy in any way, though she did laugh and smile a lot. But I think her speech, in fact, was far more impressive than what one would have expected. She picked out people from the audience. It was obviously all staged, but I think even the way she brought out the Prime Minister's chaiwala background was done in a subtle manner. It wasn't in your face, it was gentle, nice. I mean, just like if you remember, Obama had praised Dr. Manmohan Singh at one point of time and said that he's a wise and informed person and the whole world listens when Dr. Manmohan Singh speaks. In the same kind of tone, today Ivanka Trump praising
Smita, that you can't really pick who plays what role in the US administration, and I want to put that question to Swati Chaturvedi because this is an unconventional American administration. The State Department has several senior level positions which are still vacant. America isn't functioning the way it usually does. Now, if you've got Ivanka Trump and she has her dad's here and her dad happens to still be the world's most important person, if you've got her saying good things about our government, our Prime Minister and our country, that can't possibly be a bad thing. Swati, can it?
Several things, Rahul. Nobody talking about India can be a bad thing ever. But does Narendra Modi, Prime Minister of India, really need Ivanka Trump's endorsement as a chaiwala or as anything? And more than that, I'm particularly perturbed. Can you hear me? Hello? Is the connection's gone? Hello?
I hear you fine, Swati. Please go on.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I hear you fine. Please go on.
Okay. What I'm saying is that, you know, there is there's a protocol. I mean, why should the Prime Minister of India be receiving an advisor to the US President? I mean, normally, and I mean, nothing is normal about either the Trump administration or the way Modi manages events. If you remember, L.K. Advani called him an event manager, excellent event manager. The protocol would be that a junior minister would have been, would have been a minister in waiting. I don't understand why the Indian Prime Minister or the office of the Indian Prime Minister had to lay out the red carpet for her like this.
Okay, Smita Prakash, you want to respond to that a Minister of State for External Affairs possibly should have been the minister dealing with Ivanka Trump. At best, she's an advisor to a president. She's not even a cabinet minister in her father's government. So why is she being given such a red carpet? Smita Prakash comes in.
There was Nirmala Sitharaman and there was and there was Sushma Swaraj also. So it wasn't just the two of them there. There was the Prime Minister. Prime Minister did not receive Ivanka Trump at the airport, so he wasn't the receiving minister in this case. But yes, I do understand that she got more importance.
But even then,
than
so
what, an advisor, a mere advisor to even then what? OTT, over the top. Yeah, it is. I mean, it is over the top.
This is so over the top.
An advisor to a president usually doesn't get this kind of. Usually they don't get this kind of reception that she got. But we've never had an advisor who's the daughter of a president and the advisor of a president. So both India and America are dealing with a situation which has no precedent in the past.
Put that question to Shaina NC of the BJP. Swati Chaturvedi asking, why has India's reception been so over the top? She's just an advisor to the president. He has many, and a Minister of State for External Affairs is the one who should be dealing with Ivanka Trump instead of the Prime Minister going all the way to Hyderabad to deal with her personally. Let Shaina respond.
Firstly, Rahul, the Prime Minister went to Hyderabad to receive Donald Trump, not to receive Ivanka Trump as everyone is suggesting. Now, if she comes in the official capacity as an advisor and an advisor of the US government, India cannot have an opinion on that. And please do understand that it was Nirmala Sitharaman and Sushma Swaraj who were there to receive her. I don't understand what hullabaloo is. If at all you need to discuss this issue, it has to be raised in America, because this is not an issue of India. India is only being hospitable and is only welcoming an official guest.
And let Alisa Ayers come in on this, because the reality is that this is not a regular American administration. In the way that Donald Trump is functioning, American politics aside, it's actually quite smart for Prime Minister Modi to be going out to woo Ivanka, because she, with the direct access she has as her father's daughter, as his advisor, she's called by American media as the quiet power behind the throne. She can get a lot more done. Therefore, if India leaves a favorable impression, that can only do India's case good, can't it?
Look, I think the level of media attention that can be marshaled by her presence can be helpful if directed to the policy issue that this summit is really about. I'd like to also note that the Global Entrepreneurship Summit, this is the 8th in a series. This is an initiative that the Obama administration began, and I'm glad that the Trump administration has decided to continue with it. As I said earlier, to me, the critically important policy issue here is not how many seats at the table in Falaknuma Palace, or whether people are making bangles, or whether there's a sorry yes or no. To me, the critically important issue here is the spotlight that this summit can put on women entrepreneurs to help them gain access to capital and support for their work. That will be beneficial not only to India, where this is a really vital economic growth issue, but to women entrepreneurs around the world, and that's the purpose of this summit. So
that,
if I could
Prerna
also
Mukharia, is truly an important issue, because just about 1/10 of the total startups are startups that women are putting together in India. There have been so many testimonials from women when they go out looking for venture capital funding, how they're not taken as seriously as their male counterparts when they're seeking similar projects. Also, their long-term commitment to a project is always held in doubt, because it's thought that they'll get married, have children, and then what happens to the company. So those are important issues which really is what will be discussed over the next 2 days, and in that sense, raising this whole issue about women entrepreneurs is actually a good thing, is it not? Prerna.
I mean, I want to say that I think we're being a little bit cynical here, and I'm not going to comment on Ivanka's political acumen. I am going to comment on the apolitical nature of this entire summit. Let's take a step back. This is called the Global Entrepreneurship Summit, and I think India is sending out a very powerful message. This is India's way of endorsing its women. This is India's way of endorsing entrepreneurship, and who better to do it than with the United States of America. I think, if I could point out to my co-panelists, for all startups, the USA is still the single largest contributor in terms of funding. And if we can get Ivanka right here to discuss entrepreneurship, she's a great businesswoman, why not? I mean, let's not be as cynical, people.
No, you're saying she's a great businesswoman, but that's also something which is contested fiercely in the United States, because she only worked for 2 years outside of her father's enterprise. For the rest of the time, she's been in her father's enterprise, and therefore, people will ask, does she really have much entrepreneurial capabilities herself?
Rahul, it's what she represents. She's representing the United States of America. And as I pointed out, India needs all of that funding to come in. India needs its VCs, and it needs all the big funders and all the donor money to still come in from USA. So, I mean, if she's here representing all of that, then why not? I mean, I'm just coming in from the Taj Falaknuma, and I can tell you that, I mean, I saw a beautiful gathering of some very smart, very good people, and I'm very, very happy at how well the government of India has put this together. I mean, whether we're talking about Startup India or Invest India, it is so good to see the government of India making such a wonderful effort in putting together some, 1,000, 1,500 people all in the same room over a period of 3 days. That's no mean feat,
Okay, that's a good point.
Issues
You're
that
saying
deserve
that
a lot of attention.
naysayers are being unnecessarily critical. I want to put that question to Shama Mohammed, that women entrepreneurship, if it gets the kind of attention that Ivanka and Modi coming together brings, this whole concept, that's something that should be celebrated. I think Prerna speaks very passionately when she says, don't be so cynical. Just because there's Modi there, you don't need to play politics, Shama. Shama? Okay, give me a moment as I try and fix that line. I want to, in the meanwhile, go across to Manaswi. She's known Ivanka Trump, and she's joining us on this broadcast. Manaswi, welcome. Your sense of whether this is really a power play by the Indian Prime Minister, or does it actually help give women entrepreneurs the kind of focus they seek? and could open doors for more funding in the months to come.
Absolutely. I'm just very upset by this whole unnecessary media speculation as to what is her capability, why is she here, what is the kind of welcome. Why can't we be positive? Like, I don't understand. Our Prime Minister Modi, he's very intelligent. He's the one who invited her here, and she's the ambassador, of the United States. She actually has a position. She is the senior advisor to the President of the United States. She has an office. And she is his most trusted person because, she was a part of his business empire to follow his life. She was a big part of his campaign and now the administration. So she has President's ear and, he really values her opinion. So, why are we going into this whole thing of why here and what kind of...
Give me a moment as I fix that video line with Manaswi. In the meanwhile, I want to go across to Hyderabad. Joining us from there is our own Foreign Affairs editor, Geeta Mohan. She's been tracking this day-long summit. Geeta, what's happening at this time? Who all were the people who were at this 101 guest reception at the Falaknuma Palace, and what's happening right now?
The delegates, the speakers who were invited by the Indian and the US administration were there at the Falaknuma to get a glimpse of what it looks like to have India and US cooperate at such a level, Rahul. While there's a lot of debate on Ivanka Trump's position, whether an advisor should have got the kind of welcome that she got, the fact of the matter is this. Look at the content of the speeches made by Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Ivanka Trump. She spoke about, and the scriptwriters of the speeches have done an astounding job because they touched upon issues that matter to Prime Minister Narendra Modi. So it's not just about how important Ivanka Trump is to Modi, it's also about how important India is to the US administration. The fact that she spoke about the tea sellers, Prime Minister Modi's humble beginnings, and talking about a man from being a tea seller becomes the Prime Minister of India is not because she meant to speak about his humble beginnings only, because it's the US administration that understands, the Indian embassy that understood the recent controversy, and they brought that in. So it just goes to show that as much as US is important to India, Rahul, India is also important to the United States of America.
I want to put that question to Shama Muhammad, if she can hear me now, because Shama, I think Prerna Mukherjee made a very important point that this summit brings women entrepreneurship into square focus. And how often have we looked at percentages for how much funding women entrepreneurs are getting, or what percentage of total startups are by women entrepreneurs? And if all of this is coming into focus, that is something that should be celebrated, and we shouldn't just play politics for the sake of playing politics. Shama Muhammad.
No, I think it's a good thing. We should always celebrate when women entrepreneurs are being promoted by US as well as India. But a couple of points here. I don't know who the lady before me was speaking, she said that it's not just about US being important to India, but India being important to US. If India was important to US, when President Donald Trump did his 10-day visit to Asia earlier this year, he would have come to India. He did not. He missed India. So that's one thing which shows how important India is to the United States. And another thing is, in the Obama era, there was this, he scrapped the Obama era gender wage data collection, gender gap wage data collection, in which one would know how much is paid to a woman and how much is paid to a man, to improve the payment of women in the United States. And President Donald Trump has scrapped it, and Ivanka has not said a word against it. So it's all a bit complicated right now. We are for women entrepreneurs coming up, but we just don't want it to be just a show.
That's an important point, because that's not the only controversy. The other controversy, of course, is about how many women laborers or poorly paid laborers are employed at the various labels that Ivanka Trump runs. That data also not being put out. People questioning whether Ivanka Trump is a fake feminist, or is she really a global woman power icon. She started out as a model at the age of 15. She's also been on the list of America's hottest women. She gave up modeling in disgust, calling models the meanest, cattiest, bitchiest girls on the planet. she's now President Trump's advisor, and American media describes her as the quiet power behind the throne. Ivanka Trump's life journey has seen many ups and downs, and now this huge platform being given to her at the Global Entrepreneurship Summit in Hyderabad.
When Donald Trump began his presidential campaign, it was Ivanka beside him all the way. Through the rough and tumble of making it to the White House, when Donald Trump became president, there was Ivanka, all smiles, just a step behind. And when Trump Sr. stepped into the Oval Office, his daughter got designated Senior White House Advisor.
I feel very blessed to have met so many of you. I applaud my father's commitment to creating millions of jobs and specifically making sure that all Americans have the skills required.
Yet all the while, over 2 years, Ivanka Trump kept saying she was trying her best to stay out of politics. In 2016, Paul Manafort was a major factor in the Trump campaign. In 2017, Manafort and Trump's longtime aide, Richard Rick Gates, was indicted of tax evasion, foreign lobbying, and laundering $75 million working for pro-Russian elements in Ukraine. And guess who encouraged Donald Trump to hire Manafort? It was Ivanka. But controversy is not something Ivanka is new to. In 2012, Ivanka and her brother Donald Trump Jr. were under investigation for allegedly misleading investors in a hotel and condominium project. After a 2-year investigation, the case was dropped, but months later, media reports revealed kickbacks might have been given to have the investigation dropped. In 2016, Ivanka was targeted for soliciting free business promotions. A boycott was started in October to encourage department stores to stop carrying Trump family brands. About a dozen retailers decided to dump Trump. As the boycott continued into the Trump presidency, Donald Trump himself tweeted, "My daughter Ivanka has been treated so unfairly by Newsroom. She's a great person, always pushing me to do the right thing." Terrible. The response drew criticism as the president clearly used his status to influence his daughter's business. More recently, the bare legs and the hemlines of Ivanka and sister Tiffany Trump's skirts caused an international uproar. Tiffany put her bare legs on full display in a very short coat and heels as she joined Ivanka to watch their father pardon the national Thanksgiving turkey. Most recently, when Ivanka Trump went to Japan ahead of the US president's 11-day tour of Asia, her bright pink miniskirt for a speech wasn't seen as proper for a first daughter on a state visit. And then there were the allegations of Ivanka signing business deals on the side. Well, it seems that you can't take a Trump out of business, nor have a Trump do anything that is not business.
When her father and now American President Donald Trump spoke about groping women, she called Donald Trump a feminist. In the past, she's contributed generously to the Democrat coffers, her father's opponents, and on issues of supply chain management and the kind of people who are helping keep her supply line going, she's accused of being very opaque. So is Ivanka Trump a fake feminist, or is she a global power icon? I want to put that question first to Alisa Ayers in Washington. Do you see her as a genuine global female icon, or is she a fake feminist?
again, Rahul, I just would not create these kind of false binaries. There are certainly problems, as you have highlighted. There are big questions that people have asked about her own supply chain in her own company, which she has not divested from, though she has stepped away from the daily management of that company. And there are also other questions, as we talked earlier, about the appropriateness of having children working in the White House. That is not how the United States has functioned previously. That said, it has been the case that she has wanted to focus on the issue of women's empowerment and women's financial inclusion. That's been something that she's focused on in her work and outreach with the World Bank. Those are issues that I think are vitally important in the United States and around the world. So on the issue itself, I think we should support those issues. And I don't think we should have our only conversation be focused on the persona of the individual. I understand that that is what may attract viewers and ratings, but there are policy issues here that I believe are vitally important.
Been listening in intently. Her sartorial choices often come in for criticism, and most recently when she was with Angela Merkel and she got a lot of negative criticism. That's when she went out in a very fancy attire, and a lot of commentary in the United States at that time about how she was trying to deflect attention from serious core policy issues and bring them onto her attire and her clothes. What are you making of the kind of attention that Ivanka Trump is receiving? Reena Dhaka?
Hi, Rahul, is that for me?
Yes, ma'am, it is.
Hi, sorry, I thought you were asking someone else. I was very happy with her being here. I opened the papers, I was looking at what she had to say, and I really liked what she had to say, and the fact that she's talking about women's empowerment currently. We need that. We need as an encouragement, we need the courage to go ahead, and whatever her past or her choices have been, which may not have been received well by all the time, at this point I don't fault her. On this one, for me, she's a winner, and I like what she had to say. I even liked her clothing, her fashion sense. She wasn't trying to distract, she got it all right. It was subtle, yet it was carrying her, you know, who she is, a young American woman, mother of young children. And
you're seeing in the United States so much criticism that she's not using her leadership role to call out labor and human rights abuses, and she's not taking a public stand on, you know, supposed abuses in her own brand supply chain. If she wishes to play the kind of role she wants in America and globally, is that not the least that you'd expect from a feminist icon? Manaswi?
Sorry, I don't think my line. Hello? Can you repeat that?
Okay, Manaswi, I'm saying you're seeing the kind of criticism she's receiving in the United States for not taking a stand on supposed violations in her own brand's supply chain. The fact that she wants to play the role of a feminist icon, but when it comes, for example, soon after her father was being pilloried, she actually came out, instead of criticizing her father for making the kind of comments he did about groping women, she called Donald Trump a feminist.
I don't think the line is...
Okay, let me put that question to Swati Chaturvedi. Do you think of her as a fake feminist, Swati?
Well, Rahul, there are too many... again, that's a total binary, but there are too many dichotomies happening across the board here. I mean, let's just talk about what we've done. We've kind of broken protocol for this, but let's not forget that one of the guests who was invited at this summit, which is called Women First, was Deepika Padukone, who dropped out because she was receiving beheading and nose-cutting threats from the ruling party. So what are we exactly talking about here? And you know, a live woman is being threatened by the ruling party for a myth. So you know, let's not. I think we're getting all our wires are crossed. This is more like a media event. I don't understand how Ivanka Trump coming here is going to frankly empower any entrepreneur or any woman in India.
Let Prerna Mukherjee respond, because she was speaking passionately about how women entrepreneurship is getting focused. Swati Chaturvedi asking, What turns when Ivanka comes here? Nothing changes. Prerna.
Rahul, I think we're having a very misguided discussion. I mean, I care about what Ivanka represents. She's representing the US government. She's in here in an official capacity. I don't care about her hemlines. I don't care about her past. What I care about is a discussion on entrepreneurs. I care about the entrepreneurs and the funders and the innovators who have made their way here to Hyderabad to have some very good conversations. I care about the businesses that will happen. I care about the startups that will be funded. And I care about all those women out there across the country who've made it to this event, and it gives them a platform. I care about that. More so, I think I really appreciate the Indian Prime Minister who, unlike most of his predecessors, took time out for an event that focuses on women, on entrepreneurs and all things good in the ecosystem. Why can't we have a discussion in this panel today about all of that? I mean, why are we focusing on the Padmavatis and the controversies? I mean, that's an endless list. I mean, that's a vicious cycle. Let's not do that, please.
Okay, that's a good point you make, and let Swati Chaturvedi respond. Are we being overly and unnecessarily critical here?
No, there's a reason. No. Deepika Padukone was supposed to speak here. She was invited. She dropped out, and we all know why she dropped out. So when you're talking about empowering women, if we can at least provide them safety, then let's talk about entrepreneurship next. I mean, let's look at the reality of what we're dealing
Swati.
with. Did Deepika Padukone not drop out of the summit because of the kind of threat she's been receiving from the ruling party?
Swati, I completely agree, you know, and I'm a woman, I run a startup, I understand all the ifs and buts that come with it. I also want to, you know, get ahead of myself and say that maybe Deepika Padukone dropped out because we wanted to avoid additional controversy. Maybe there were questions surrounding her safety. With the PM coming in, we didn't want to get into all of that. But why can't we leave that piece out? And this is not to say we are an egalitarian society. I mean, I'm a sole founder of a startup, and no, I don't think we are an egalitarian society. But why can't we focus on the good? Why does it have to be all bad?
Absolutely. Okay,
I mean, why can't we focus on all the good?
Prerna, as a young woman entrepreneur yourself, what are the kind of problems that you hope that Ivanka Trump, all the other women entrepreneurs there, Prime Minister Modi and the others from the Indian government and the Niti Aayog will try and focus on? What kind of an ecosystem can be created that helps women get access to venture capital funding, that they also become a part of the startup stand-up plan in the way that men are? Because right now lots of women saying they're simply not getting access to funding and that the odds are stacked against them.
So, Rahul, I think that's a whole panel discussion in itself, and I'd need much more airtime for that. But to quickly get into, I think what the government can do, I think the government is already doing its fair bit. Maybe, you know, have more platforms such as this wherein women can come out and have more discussions. What I am against is giving preference to women simply on the basis of gender. I don't think women need that kind of favoritism. I think women demand equality, women demand respect, and I think maybe this platform is a means of doing just that. I mean, a lot of us don't get out, we don't have areas and arenas, and I'd still like to say that a lot of VC funding is still channeled towards male-funded organization. Is that sad? Yes. Is that reality? Yes. Is that the reality all across the world? Hell yes. But, you know, I mean, we're all trying to make steps forward. I am here today in an official capacity discussing other women entrepreneurs, and I think this might encourage my peers to come out and have other conversations, and hopefully good things will happen.
That's a good point. I want to end, Smita Prakash, on a positive note, because women entrepreneurship, frankly, this is the first time in 20 years I've ever discussed women entrepreneurship. And if there is an opportunity to bring the attention squarely on women entrepreneurs and what can be done to make things easier for them, then that's really something that should be celebrated, and we shouldn't unnecessarily pile all this criticism and cynicism on them.
Yeah, Rahul, and firstly, congratulations for getting an all-women panel to discuss this for a change. We don't have men discussing Ivanka's visit, but you have an all-woman panel. Thank you for that. But you know, just to come back to this point about Ivanka getting, you know, having spent only 2 years outside the Trump empire, and that therefore she's not an entrepreneur, not really a businesswoman. You know, the fact is that in America, though they are such a developed nation, women politicians and women businesswomen are still, you know, they still have to break that glass ceiling. There's such an enormous amount of criticism for women politicians in that country, forever talking about their hemlines, about the way they dress. You saw this with Hillary Clinton. You're seeing this with every visit that Ivanka Trump has taken abroad. What is she wearing? What colors? And you know, that's happened in this visit. Fortunately for her and for America probably, there's not been much of criticism about how she's dressed in this visit. And frankly, I think Prerna is right. We have to focus on the positives in this, that her being present at this Women Entrepreneurship Summit brings Indian women entrepreneurs up there.
Reena Dhaka, do you think that's unfair, the fact that what she wears, the length of her hemline attracts so much attention, or do you believe it's only natural and it's unavoidable?
Look, it's natural and it is unavoidable because she's a glamorous girl, she's an ex-model, and right now she's a good face of America. But her content is very nice, her content is good, it's encouraging, it's not just about herself. She is talking about an intention which can empower women, even if it begins with a dialogue, even if it begins with a few startups, but the trickle effect may one day reach some of us, or down to changing the lives of a few women. So I'm actually quite happy about what she did in Hyderabad, what she spoke about, and the fact that they sent her. I don't know if I would have been as interested had they sent somebody who may not have been such an eye-catcher as her.
I want to thank all the ladies who joined us on this very special all-women's panel. We've been working very hard since the morning. There are no men on the newsroom tonight, only women to discuss women entrepreneurship and to discuss Ivanka Trump's visit to India. As always on the newsroom, I don't take sides. You've heard both sides. We leave it to you, our discerning, super sharp viewers, to decide whether Prime Minister Modi went overboard or did he actually play a trump card with the Trump administration.
Thanks for watching the video. For more such news and updates, please like, share and subscribe to India Today. Also check out our other great videos from our channel. We know you would love to.